Have you ever heard of a great books education? It's an idea closely tied to perennialism, the educational philosophy of one Mortimer J. Adler. Born in New York in 1902, Adler was something of an autodidact and worked at the New York Sun newspaper as a teenager, then studied at Columbia with luminaries including John Dewey. But he decided to approach education in almost the exact opposite way as Dewey's experimentalism. Adler believed experimentation didn't need to be our goal when the centuries have done the work for us. The keys to becoming educated were already here in what he called the great books of the Western world. This focus of his on the Western world is the source of the greatest amount of criticism Adler has faced and would face. While long understood as a legitimate source of a liberal education, the great books have largely been perceived as an elitist occupation, like the study of philosophy itself that is commonly decried as useless. But Adler pushed for seminars on the great books and found an audience, culminating in the publication of Britannica's Great Books and Great Ideas series. This series is meant as a compendium of the thinkers across all disciplines who shaped the Western world. And you can see them right behind me. Eventually becoming known for the Paideia movement, Adler liked this idea of a basic education and sought to abolish multi-track schooling in elementary and secondary levels so that all students could learn about the great books and the great ideas together. There's something powerful about his idea that everyone can appreciate philosophy. He makes the point that the great ideas, the real content of philosophy, are things we all talk about: truth, love, virtue, justice, morals. These are not technical terms regular people don't concern themselves with. Here is how he put it in the opening paragraph of his author's introduction to the book How to Think About the Great Ideas. It cannot be too often repeated that philosophy is everybody's business. To be a human being is to be endowed with the proclivity to philosophize. To some degree, we all engage in philosophical thought in the course of our daily lives. Excuse me. Acknowledging this is not enough. It is also necessary to understand why this is so and what philosophy's business is. The answer, in a word, is ideas. In two words, it is great ideas. The ideas basic and indispensable to understanding ourselves, our society, and the world on which we live. Here, the great books provide a kind of universal language for educated people to talk about the things that really matter. People who undergo this general education will then have all the tools to pursue specialization in literally any field. Adler's goal was not the fashioning of an elite like we tend to think of with this kind of education, but the opposite. He sought to use the classics as a basic for raising all people to a shared level of education. I have some experience with this because this is the kind of school I went to. When we got to 10th grade, we even got our own set of Britannica's great books. Mine are boxed because I'm moving to another classroom. The headmistress of my school has her own, which are behind me. I didn't become a philosophy nerd. Kant's Critique of Pure Reason was where I tapped out. But I was greatly impressed by this idea that we can all engage with ideas and even philosophy by remembering that it's what makes up our world. Regular people want stories about love, heroism, sin, evil. These are not topics for the ivory tower, but these are Adler's great ideas. In my experience, young people also want to talk about such things. As for the criticism that he was too narrowly focused on the West, I think it's interesting to consider that the other framework, along with the great books of the Western world, the great ideas, has within it the seeds of bringing in other, even non-Western works into a kind of great books canon. The question is, do these works contribute to the discussion of the great ideas in profound ways? If they do, then they could be added. Thus, Adler's philosophy may leave room for more flexibility than people might think. Adler was also extreme in his desire to get rid of multi-track education, or to radically integrate different subjects. Personally, I see value in cross-disciplinary work, but I'm skeptical of his insisting on an integrated philosophy of science, literature, and religion. But I do believe in the idea that regular people can engage with great books and profit from in-depth study of the ideas they contain. I believe in that partly because I'm a Christian who wants kids to get the most out of life. Christ said, "I came that you might have life and have it abundantly." And that truth gives us reason to study God's word, right? To have a life of abundance through the wisdom of God's word. But I also believe part of what God has provided us is in culture. And consideration of the best of culture, the stuff that's really lasted over the centuries, is also part of having life abundantly. It's part of the examined life that Socrates talked about, when, of course, the unexamined life wasn't worth living. In getting us to think about these things, I think Adler's work did have a beneficial effect.